Desper of Confident Parenting with my trusty office assistants. My friend Sarah and YY welcomed a newborn recently and had a sleep question. So I'm going to answer you guys here, and then the rest of the parenting world can benefit as well. So the question is, should I ever wake my sleeping newborn? The quick answer for you guys, Sarah and YY, is no, but I am going to give a longer answer in case your scenario changes now or down the road, and for everybody else's benefit too. So if we're just talking about newborns, so let's say the first 12 or so weeks, generally speaking, you do not need to wake your baby if they're sleeping. However, there are some caveats to that. So obviously, if your pediatrician says to do so for whatever reason, bilirubin levels, weight gain, then follow their instructions and until they say you don't need to anymore. Additionally, you want to make sure that you're fitting enough feeds into a 24-hour period. For example, let's say that your baby needs 8 to 12 feeds in a 24-hour period. Let's just go with 8 for ease of this conversation. If they nap so much during the day that they only get, maybe 4 of those feeds, you're going to have the other half to make up overnight. So if your hope or goal is that nights start to organize in a reasonable amount of time and you start to get some sleep there, you really want to limit daytime sleep if you have to, just to protect the feeding pattern. So let's say that your baby needs to eat every, 2 hours or 2.5 or 3, whatever it is. You don't want naps to run so long that gets pushed later and then all the other feeds get shifted later, or a feed gets skipped over entirely. So you would wake your baby to fit enough feeds into their day. If they want to go right back to sleep, they can go right back to sleep. You actually can't make a baby stay awake, just like you can't force a baby to sleep if they don't want to. So protecting the feeding pattern is a really important reason why we might wake a sleeping baby. You might hear about something called day-night confusion. That term is thrown around a lot. I don't think babies are confused. They actually don't have an internal clock yet, newborns. They don't know the difference between night and day, so there's nothing to be confused about. What's actually happening is that they didn't eat enough during the day because they slept so much, and then they need to eat at night to make up for it. So that's one reason you might wake a sleeping baby, and I would, in terms of when to wake them, you would want to stick to your individual pattern and fit the right number of feeds into their daytime and evening hours. A good general rule of thumb is if a nap is lasting longer than 2.5 hours, you may also need and want to wake your newborn. And that is because of feeding, but also because as early as 6 to 8 weeks, hopefully your baby, and I know Sarah and YY, your baby's already doing this, but for everybody else, we want to see that they can start to organize a stretch of about 4 or more hours at the beginning of the night without needing to eat during those hours, and knowing that night is actually different from day and starting to treat that differently. So if they were to get that 4-hour stretch from a nap, you may never see it at night, and night is probably where you want it so that you can benefit from it and they can be on a more typical pattern. So those are generally 2 reasons why we might wake a sleeping baby, and probably the only reasons that you would need to. So hopefully that helps for anybody else who's wondering. I know your little guy is gaining well. I know he's already doing that stretch at night. So no, you probably don't need to wake at all unless naps are of monster length. So enjoy, and I hope that helps everybody who was wondering the same thing.